what is the, the goal that has brought you together? And in the end, what do you think you're going to be achieving?
If we allow the ladies to go again first, but allow me to say this. As you rightfully put it, the Kenyan population is made of young people. And at the end of the day, as government, our programs must be a reflection of who we are targeting and who we are doing this for. And we have no choice as a government, and the president has no choice other than to mainstream the young people in the national development agenda, not just by paper, not just by policy, by action. And that can only happen if there is a conversation going on, if there is collaboration going on, and that is why, at the end of the day, it's not about us, the government, telling the young people what they need to do, but the young people directing the conversation. So that is why this partnership is critical, because we can't imagine what they want. We can only listen to them.
Sarah, yes. Mongare points the question to you then, and he says that you should be driving the conversation. Are young people driving the conversation in the country?
Oh yes, they are, and exactly that's why we have come up with this, because we are having a summit that we are having African youth coming together in one hall to discuss the solutions to challenges that affect our societies, our countries, and the continent at large. So yes, we are having these conversations because we want to, take charge of our destiny as a country and as a continent. Yes, so we are having these conversations, and we want to get information from the right people. Very many people out there, we have a large array of young people in this country, in the organization, and most of them, they don't have information. Even on what is going on in government, maybe the opportunities that are there for young people in the government. So we want to seek information from the right places. So that is why we engage the presidency, we engage every organization out there that is doing things for the youth. So that is why we have this meeting here. Yes.
Okay, Kathleen. Sarah does point out the issue of having multi-sectoral approach in terms of also knocking on the doors of all stakeholders, in terms of having that sense of, the coming together of all stakeholders with regards to having a uniform objective, goals and ambitions to achieve. Then going forward, are the young people making enough of what's apparently present or what's apparently available in the country, even as we cry, even as you cry, for more involvement in, elective leadership, for more involvement in business, for more involvement in other, fields of expertise? Are we making use of the little that's available in the country?
We are not actually, but at least there is progress when you look at it. Again, it all boils down to leadership, because they are our leaders. They are people that we look up to. So at the end of the day, how do we want them to lead us? Because we are following their aspect of leadership, how do we want them to lead us to the path that we want to follow? So we have to knock these doors, we have to address them, we have to be confident enough to approach them with our business ideas, we have to be confident enough to actually pitch these ideas to the potential investors, you understand? So at the end of the day, if you're confident enough, I don't think there's anything that can shatter you from talking to these people, approaching these people, knocking these doors. At the end of the day, it is your goal. You have this lifetime vision that you want to live. So knock on these doors. When you look at it at the end of the tunnel, you'll connect the dots, and you'll see that there's this, X-ray of all the progresses that you have made that will come out and, form this lifetime vision that you have.
Kanguno, I'll come to you. The extent of young people involvement in, matters that are difficult in life also comes with the psychological warfare, of course. We see the rate of suicide among young people, which is on the rise. We have seen the upsurge in the number of people who feel disenfranchised, not better members of the society. Having that discussion, interpersonal communication, how do you help them in terms of guiding them to the right channel to make them feel that indeed, despite not having all what they ought to have, then still they are still good members of the society who will be cherished upon just their presence?
Thank you. That's a very important question, because many people, especially the young people, they feel left out. And when we involve them, make them own up whatever they intend to do, then it's a better way of helping them to maybe believe in themselves. And this is exactly what we are doing by going to the young people, guiding them, giving them a platform whereby they can express their needs. And through that, we connect them to the right support systems, which will help them to solve some of the challenges that they face.
Walter Mongare, I was speaking to you, no problem. Allow me to pose this to you.
Yes.
Well, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, which is an independent authority, did release a report and said that young people are normally used for political campaigns and are left out disenfranchised afterwards the elections. And that what the political class does want of them is the mammoth crowd, and then once the election period is over, then they're out in the cold with no jobs, with no lifetime opportunities in terms of making their lives better. How is the government trying to look into this, including and you're from the Office of the Presidency, in terms of making these youths invulnerable even during the political campaigns, and that they are taking part in the process should be one that is of importance and not as a tool to be used and then left out in the cold with no lifetime opportunities?
I guess I want to paint it in two directions. Number one, what's the responsibility of the voter, of you as a young person? Number two, we are aware that at the end of the day, elections come and go. This is not the first time we're going to have, we had elections. We're still going to have another election cycle in another 4 years or so. We've had elections from 2002. And I guess experience is what needs to drive the conversation. As young people, by now, you should have realized that, one, there are politicians who would take advantage of the fact that they want to sell a euphoric kind of campaign, and all they want is numbers. And at the end of the day, once they're in there, that's the end of the story. But at the same time, I want to ask ourselves that how are we holding ourselves accountable, you as a voter and this person who you are electing into the office? Number one, accountability is not about I voted and that's the end of the discussion until the next 5 years. It's what is that the person that you voted for is coming in to do? What is your social contract with the person? So I guess it's a question of us taking the civic education back to ourselves and beginning to realize that at the end of the day, it's not about the person. It's about what is it that we want as a country, what is it that the young people want at the end of the day from those offices. So having said that, there's a tendency of people not reading what the Constitution is providing for. And I think that is where the civic education still goes back to this conversation, in the sense that you as a young person, if you vote somebody in, and into 100 days, 300 days, a year into the office, and they're not delivering on what you're supposed to do, there's a recall clause. You get, so it's not a question of we are stuck with, because we voted for you, we are stuck until the end of the term. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we need to start holding ourselves accountable. Accountable in the actions that we take. The thing is, no one puts a gun on your head. It's your democratic choice and it's your civic duty to vote in the right leader for the progress of this country.
Kathleen, I'll come to you, then pose similar questions to Kangundo and Sarah. The important aspect is about media. Well, the media can turn a day into a night and a night into a day, or the vice versa. Are the young people in this country getting the right media attention? Is it adequate?
No, it's not. It is not, because when you look at the behavior of the youths, especially when we come to the social media platforms, it's like they're giving out a cry. There's so many words that go on in Twitter. They're trying to, they have a voice, but they don't really know how to air out their voice and speak out what is really affecting them in their day-to-day lives. So they're actually crying out. When you look keenly, they're actually crying out, and it is very paramount for our leaders to look into, because this is actually a message that they are sending. So look into and connect the dots and try to identify the bigger picture that the youth are actually trying to communicate.
Okay.